one of my core values is authenticity. So I always want to be my authentic self. I don't want to lose myself in the excitement of any opportunities that I get. I saw teenage pregnancy, I saw drug abuse, I saw lots of issues, and I'm like, something can be done about this. And if I could find a sense of purpose and that turned my life around, what if the other people in my community also did? It started from realizing that there is more in me that I'm not tapping into. So I was just going around as this shy, as the country people them said, dark girl. But I could literally feel like there are messages of hope on the inside of me. I was home one day randomly, going to a tough moment.
Right.
And then they said, oh, there's a police at the gate. And I was like, oh.
Okay, I want to know.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Charmian Marie.
And we're the Beatles. Join us weekly. Let's talk about purpose, faith, and expression.
Purpose to Audacity is dedicated to sowing seeds of healing, growth, and impact through the sharing of real stories, real thoughts, and biblical truth. Whether it's through conversations with Brian and Charmian Marie or with our specially invited guests.
For God's glory.
This is Purposed Audacity. Thanks for joining us.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Purposed Audacity. And of course, I am Charmian Marie Beadle, and guess what? We have a very special episode in store for you because we have an extra special guest here with us. We have the winner of our Business Impact Award for the PAJE People's Choice Award, and her name is Tishauna Mullings. Tishauna, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to share on platforms like these.
Good to know. Good to know. All right, guys. So we're going to be discussing, Tishauna's journey to business impact and being a global change agent. And I mean, we're pretty sure that she's no stranger to you. But we definitely want to get to know her on a deeper level. And Tishauna, we appreciate your willingness to, be open and to share with us on this platform, as you said. And so with that said, let's begin. All right. So with that said, of course, as I said, you are not a stranger to the Jamaican populace and in fact to many global entities. And you've had many features overall globally as well. But I want to hear from you. Who is Tishauna? In your own words, who are you?
I want to say I'm a dedicated dynamo. And it took me a while to be able to even label myself that way, because when I realized that I had multiple talents and I started to tap into those talents and share those talents, the feedback that I was expecting was that the whole world would be happy because you're trying to do great things to help the world, right? But in all of those experiences, challenges, various reactions from people as I operate in the world of work, serving others, I think the lessons have forged the person that I've become. So I'm from a history where I was very shy, growing up in St. Thomas.
You're very shy? Okay.
Right? Country people will call you dark.
Yeah.
If you're shy, and that was a popular word that was used to describe me, right? Yeah, so to come from that space to this space where I can bravely say, I'm a mix of boldness and benevolence.
Wow.
Wow. My life is about service to others, and everywhere I show up with boldness and vibrancy. One of the calmest moments is when I'm sitting in an interviewing chair. Because you said, in your introduction, you're happy that I'm here to share.
Yeah.
I think vulnerability is one of the superpowers that I've developed. So I'm happy to just share my journey to help others grow through this conversation.
Wow. Thank you. I feel like there's nothing else that I need to really say to that, but Wow, what a powerful start. And with that said then, all right, cool. So you are from the country, you are from St. Thomas, and I definitely know your passion for, your parish, I've been enjoying the development I've been seeing over there, and to know that you have been instrumental in community development has been, really inspiring. So with that stated, where did this passion for community development and social development actually come from though? From this one shy person to this dynamo. Where did that passion come from?
It started from realizing that there is more in me that I'm not tapping into. So I was just going around as this shy, as the country people them said, dark girl, but I could literally feel like there are messages of hope on the inside of me. Like I'd be just walking and just hearing messages, but I couldn't use those I couldn't find out how to tap into them for my own good. And I'm like, how do I tap into my greatness? So imagine literally Googling, how do I find my purpose? How do I live a life that makes sense? Like I was literally on that journey because I felt aimless. Work, school, home, that was my triangle. And you're just gonna live, work, school, home, and then at the end of life, what?
Yeah.
So wanting to answer that question and then eventually finding the answer, because I figured out there's a thing called life coaching.
Right.
I figured out I have a half sister from the other side, which is a whole other story.
Right. Right.
Right? I learned life coaching through her and then wanted to become a coach myself.
Right.
And so that happened while I was early in university.
Okay.
So I was looking back at my community where I grew up as this shy girl.
Right.
I saw teenage pregnancy, I saw drug abuse, I saw lots of issues. And I'm like, something can be done about this. And if I could find a sense of purpose, and that turned my life around, what if the other people in my community also did?
Right.
As I matured, at leaving Northern Caribbean University, I learned about social entrepreneurship. So I realized I didn't have to be a full-time volunteer anymore. Like I was at NC, was in ministry, feeding ministry.
Whoa.
I was just in every ministry to help everybody.
Right.
And I kind of had the savior complex back then until you mature.
Right.
And realizing
Exactly, right.
right? But I still wanted to merge these things and my passion to serve.
Right.
So I could make money from doing it.
Right.
And have enough resources to extend to those who really don't have it.
Right.
And like I like to see, to build a bridge from those who have it to those who don't. So I want to be that bridge. I'm living my life as that bridge.
That I absolutely love that, and I love that you're able to easily track back, each stage and stuff, and that each stage of growth, if you will. I really love that, and so interesting that you were Googling purpose and how to achieve purpose and thing, because especially here at, with Purpose to Audacity, we believe that, our purpose is God-breathed and stuff. And I know too that, you have a deep relationship with the Lord. So how was it actually finding out, in a practical sense or in a academic sense, of how you can use your brilliance and your passion for being that bridge, alongside your walk with the Lord? Like how did that come to be, and how has that actually influenced your walk with the Lord?
That just brings up so many things for me.
Right.
So there's a word that I discovered while I was studying in the UK, and the word is pracademic.
Whoa. Okay. Which is?
I'm a pracademic who is a practical academic.
All right.
So I pretty much use what I'm studying to do practical things.
Right.
So even when I'm in the classroom, I'm learning a theory. I'm like, okay, this connects to this connects to this other paper that I've written that can link to that project.
Right.
That's the way I think.
Right.
And it really started from the scripture that says that, go ye therefore into the world. So as a Christian who operates predominantly in the corporate world, in the secular world, serving and giving, this is me going into the world and preaching the gospel. A lot of times we believe that preaching the gospel must mean that you're saying, Jesus died on the cross for your sins, and yes, he did. But and we need to preach that as well. But there are people who, if you approach with the Jesus side of the cross message, you will automatically be shut out.
Yeah.
But when you're already in a space where they're wondering, what is this grace on your life?
Right.
What is this thing that I'm seeing? When you come into this space and you're able to help us in a corporate company to multiply our results, to become more productive, and I'm able to say, there's a grace on my life beyond the things that I learned in my academics, and this is my God, then I can introduce my God because I already have an in, right? And when I observed Jesus when he was walking on earth, he was telling the stories on the mountain about a lost coin. He was at wedding, stirring water into wine.
Right.
He was, when they didn't have money change. Was the other side.
Right. Oh, right.
But he was out there in the community. So I actually see myself being Christ-like as Christ did, moving into these communities and spaces. So what I do is pretty much discipleship and living a Christ-centered life.
Hey, I actually, I promise I'm not trying to flatter you, but that is beautiful. Like, as you were speaking, I kept on hearing, let your light so shine.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and I appreciate that level of practicality, because the truth is, especially in a world where it's ever evolving and so many more persons are suffering, whether due to socio-economic things, like so many different elements and things. Like, the truth is, as much as, yes, many church members will say, oh, we don't need to be following the world or da-da-da-da. The truth is, you need to be relevant for a lot of these individuals in one way or another. Exactly, literally salt of the earth. And so it is beautiful that you have chosen to move from that empowered place and impact lives in that regard. So I really applaud you on that, and as you press forward then, what are the top 3 things that have kept you grounded in the journey? Because, of course, I mean, you are a Shielding Scholar, you've received countless accolades, you've been to Kenya, you've been so much, right? So, like, how have you remained grounded as you've been exposed to so many dynamic things?
So, I believe that my core values keeps me grounded.
Okay.
One of my core values is authenticity. So I always want to be my authentic self. I don't want to lose myself in the excitement of any opportunities that I get. And I've gotten many opportunities, right? I mean, when I was on the Obama program, when he was doing his last town hall meeting, I was able to travel to Peru with President Obama and experience that last town hall meeting. Like, pinch myself moments, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God, but even in these moments, I'm like, who am I? What am I about? And I always want to stay grounded. When I win an award and I have hundreds of people saying congratulations, I still want to remain that authentic girl from a rural background who is a woman of God. So I want to stay grounded in that. And I also remind myself to stay in alignment, because in this world where there's just so much coming at you all the time. You open your social media, you walk out on the street. Everybody is a prophet, everybody is a psalmist, everybody is a everything. I mean,
it's tiring.
You're like, wow,
yeah.
I need to give it back. I need to stay in alignment. So a constant reminder that I must stay in alignment. I'm checking offset. Even if I'm in a conversation and I begin to shout, I'm like, oops, if I'm shouting, I'm losing, I'm out of alignment. So I always make sure
to read yourself back in.
Yes, and then that scripture in Philippians that talks about whatever things are lovely, whatever things are true, whatever things are of good report, everything that I do, I'm like, is this true? Is this lovely? Is this of good report? So just using the scripture as my mirror, my bishop pastor always say, the Bible is my mirror. So always looking back in that mirror to see, am I aligned?
Right.
What am I seeing reflected about when I look at myself? If it's not aligned, something is off.
Right.
Yeah.
I get
so there are 3 things in there.
Right. No problem. But everything that you said flowed a while ago. Because it feels like they feed into each other.
Yes.
You can't really have one without the other. And it sounds like a lot of that came from, you know, you learning some things maybe the hard way. But what would you say is the biggest lesson that you've learned on this impact journey? You want to say?
Oh my God, there has been so many lessons. So, you know, and I'm sure that there are lessons in some of the things that I've said before, but do not be weary in well-doing. And that's also biblical. Because, you see, if you're not doing what you're doing for the right reason, and you know this, because you're in business, but via PAJE, you also do a lot of serving others. And there are some days when you're serving, and in service to others, something happens that make you question, why am I even serving these people anyway? And then remember, oh, it's not about the people. It's about the mission that God has given me, right? So I've had some tough situation where I've had backlashes from the people that I'm serving.
Right.
And in those moments, you just feel like, why? You know, I don't want to do this anymore. But the biggest lesson is you are an instrument for Christ, executing the purpose that he has laid on your life. And sometimes that
Yeah.
because, trust me, it's like, you know, as a strong soldier of Christ, sometimes he gives you some tough battles.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Why? You're cute.
yeah, the battle here, he really
Not cute.
tough,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm like, God, if I'm so wounded, you expect me to still fight because I feel like I'm wounded now, like I need a power break.
Exactly.
But I have to be reminded that he has given me a mission.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have to sit committed to it,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah. And even in this moment, I'm really encouraged by that because even the journey of PAJE itself, it's been a lot of starting and stopping. And because of that, and also because of personal growth. I mean, that's one thing as well that resonates from a lot of the things you say. Like, as you have been making an impact, you also have been growing and making sure that you are just checking in with God. Like, God, we're in the right place. Am I doing the right things? Am I doing this the way you'd want to have it be done? You know, because that's another thing too. Like, as we are carrying these mantles, you know, it's also about just making sure that we can indeed represent God to the fullest.
Yeah, and also make sure that you remain teachable and coachable, because there are moments that I get feedback that I probably even disagree with. I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm like that, and I didn't mean that.
Okay.
But instead of reacting that way, I sift through to see if there's anything good there. You know what I mean? Like, I used to be called into meetings on my first job because people think I'm too much. Why? Because I walked into the lunchroom and I said, good afternoon. I mean, everybody that's coming here and eat their food. I mean, why are you saying good afternoon? And I'm called in a meeting for that.
But when you would say that's manners, when things so right, you want to know.
From my grandmother, you know,
Yeah, you exactly.
But what I had to learn from that was how to make space and take space.
Right.
How to make sure that I'm paying attention to the
Right.
I'm bringing it to a space.
And read the
So
room.
while I didn't agree that saying good afternoon, something was wrong.
Right.
That's absolutely fine.
Exactly.
But what can I learn from this?
Exactly.
situation? Even though I disagreed.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. I love that. It's really, and especially in the capacity or the capacities that you hold, right? But the truth is, you know, it's important to make sure that at the very least you're not necessarily trying to make people uncomfortable. You know, it's from that place of comfort that you are possibly able to make the most. Exactly. So I definitely understand what you're saying there. And so as you have pressed forward, you know, I want to know, has there been a specific moment? Because I mean, you mentioned the Obama travels earlier and stuff. But has there been a specific moment, or maybe 3 moments, that have made you been like, all right, yo, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, yes, God, this is the path.
Sometimes I look at my life and I'm stunned that I am the age that I am. because I feel like I've had so many lives.
Got it.
Based on the experiences that I've had.
Right.
So one of my signature projects, the Little Genius, I've been doing it for 13 years.
Crazy.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So in my 20s, you know what I mean? Other people were partying, were thinking about fashion, other people were, I mean, I like that.
Right, of course, got it. Like,
But I'm saying, that wasn't my full
right, exactly.
When I can observe families whose lives have changed. When my mentee, Damore McQueen, called me to say, I have to update you, I'm writing a book, I am at this stage in terms of my studies, I'm thinking about what I'm going to do when I'm finished, and I want to make sure I have your blessing on it. I've been mentoring Damore since 9 years old, right? And I'm like, wow, Damore is like 21 thereabout, and he's still calling me to say this is what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And just a moment when because I met him at 9, I was mentoring him for about a year through the Little Genius competition. Then I lost touch with him.
Okay.
And then one day I was at his high school, and I'm like, somebody come up and just do an impromptu speech. And he came up and he was brilliant. And I said, young man, you are brilliant. It's because of you. And I'm like, huh?
Boy.
Because at that time, I didn't remember him. You don't remember me from the genius? And I said, as of this day, I will not lose touch with you. I will stay.
Oh, my word.
And I stayed with them more.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah. So, you know, moments like those. There's just been so many moments.
Yeah.
I remember my first assistant, she called me one day to say, on this job, literally everything I'm doing is what you taught. You know, that's moments like those.
Yeah.
And those moments are priceless. And finally, this is when I got the badge of honor from the Governor General.
I can imagine. Yeah.
No. I was home one day randomly, going through a tough moment.
Right.
And then they said, oh, there's a police at the gate. And I'm like, huh?
Okay, I want me to do.
I'm trying to scan my mind, see if there's anything I
Great. Oh, my word.
And then it was a letter from King's House.
That's crazy.
And it was a letter saying that I received a badge of honor chosen at His Excellency's pleasure.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, wow. And then when I walked into the awards ceremony, I saw people who were 2 and 3 times my age mostly.
Right.
I was also receiving the badge of honor.
Right.
People like Virgil Whitemore.
Wow.
You know, he was putting stuff.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
When I know before I was born.
That is crazy. Wow, that must
And I'm in the same lineup.
That's
you know,
surreal.
people receiving receiving it posthumously. Still alive and well.
Exactly.
And well on the 30th.
You're right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
God is doing something through me.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be a visit.
Yeah. That's congratulations. I mean, I know it was years ago, but like, even, especially that moment, that Little Genius moment, that really touched me because for you to be pushing with it for 13 years and it's, you know, building over the years and things, but even beyond that, you would have touched the lives of so many across Jamaica, and it all started from a vision, you know? So that is absolutely beautiful. And, you know, speaking of starting from a vision, you know, I want to talk about nexxStepp. Like, when I look at nexxStepp, and I mean, I think of course, the passion that you've been speaking about and things like that. The truth is, there are not many entities like nexxStepp out there, right? So I want to know, where did nexxStepp like come from? How did it originate?
Right. So, I told you I'm a academic.
Right. Okay.
Now everybody watching the podcast who are academic.
Yes. Right.
So while I'm at NCU, I'm in entrepreneurship 101 class. And I'm like, I'm not going to do a whole entrepreneurship project just for a grade.
Fair enough.
I'm going to need this full read.
Right.
And I want to make an impact on my community. I want to use my skills in public speaking, training, like coaching that I've learned, mentorship. I want to use these
Right.
things, and I want to create a business with it.
Right.
So that's how it started. From me finding myself and feeling like if I'm able to multiply this
Right.
through a business model, how amazing that was.
Right.
So that's how nexxStepp started. So initially, I wanted to be able to support people from the classroom,
Right.
primary level, right up to the boardroom.
Right.
But as a young girl who is, 20-year-old country girl, just finished college, who's going to bring you and then management?
Just like that.
I started working with the children,
Right.
young people, schools. They're going to share for you.
Right.
And I have that kind of to go in a space and vibe up the room and they're cheering for me. That's how I built the confidence
Okay.
to start going to corporate organizations and to get to a space where, they have $1 million contracts. And why?
Yeah. Yeah, but you stuck with it. Yeah.
And I stuck with the process, on top of the gift baskets. Because we're in the microwave age where everybody wants to just press a button.
Yeah.
Life happens.
Yeah.
What it takes work.
Listen, can you elaborate on that for the ones in the back? Because to be very honest with you, I've personally gone through many moments in my business journey when I'm like, all right, God, like, when are we gonna stop like travailing? When are we gonna stop like, being in this mode of like trying to build, and like, what am I gonna really reap from this blood, sweat, and tears that's gone into it? You get me? But he had to remind me even the other day, like, we're playing for the long game. A legacy we're talking about, a purpose we're talking about, like, I want you to sow seeds and I will water it when I'm ready.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Charmian Marie.
And we're the Beatles. Join us weekly. Let's talk about purpose, faith, and expression.
This is Purposed Audacity. Thanks for joining us.